Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. Now in today's video I will be showing you guys basically a grading guide, how to get PSA 10s, BGS 9.5s and 10s and all that good stuff. So I have a ton of tips lined up for you guys about grading and how to get high grades, how to buy cards on eBay that would grade high and all that type of stuff. Now, before we get into that, I do want to say, as you guys know, I do have my sports card membership program. Now, I just launched my new website, sportscardsinvest.com, with the S at the end of cards, at the end of card. And, yeah, basically, I do sell my membership program on there. And what my membership program is basically I show you guys what I'm buying, you know, what I'm paying for each and every card, where I'm buying, when to sell, where to sell, and basically how to, you know, make a lot of money in this red hot market right now. Kind of navigate you guys through the market and give you guys, you know, what I'm buying, where I'm buying, and all that type of stuff. Now, if you guys do want a 10% discount, you can use code YouTube at checkout for 10% off in my website. The first link down below will be my website, so go ahead, check it out if you guys are interested and I guess getting some guidance. But without further ado, we're gonna hop right into the video. So basically the first thing, we're gonna just search up like Luka Doncic raw prism or whatever it is, right? So basically what I do is I'm on my phone, I search up the raw prism, and the first thing, especially for beginners, I definitely recommend you guys do this. I do have quite a bit of experience, but I still find it helpful. Is what you go ahead and do is say I'm looking at buying this, you know, green prism. What you're going to want to do is search up about 3 to 4 PSA 10s, different PSA 10 green prisms. Or I guess in this case it could be base 2 since it's the same card, just a color variation. But you're basically going to want to compare. As you can see, this guy has a note, which I like. A lot of people, what they do is leave their notes in the description. So that's something I wanted to talk about. You guys should always check the description, because sometimes people put in the description like a little ding on the back, and then if you buy it and try to return it saying there was a ding, they'll say, oh, it was in the description. So always be sure to check the description. But what you basically want to do is have PSA 10 cards of the card you're looking for on your computer screen or whatever it is, basically on 2 tabs, whatever it is, and you're going to want to compare. So different things such as, you know, font, if the spacing between the name is too close, obviously centering, you guys know that. You're going to look left and right and up and down and see, you know, how well the card is centered. I guess Luka Doncic is just a little bit tougher. I definitely prefer optics in terms of, like, you know, optic, you know, NBA, whatever it is, a raw card. So as you can see, say if I'm looking for a De'Aaron Fox optic, first I'd probably study the PSA 10 a little bit, get some features down of the cards, you know, where everything is, and that type of stuff. And then what you're going to want to do is go to the raw card and make sure, you know, try to find, you know, if you can find multiple differences, I would definitely stick away from it. And yeah, it's basically just, you definitely want to zoom in. And then about the surface. So the surface, like corners, edges, you can kind of just go around, look at those. But with surfaces, I would ask, if you're really interested in a card, I always ask the seller for up-close pictures, 1. And 2, how's the surface basically? Are there any scratches? Are there any? Because a lot of the times, if the lighting is not, I guess, like perfectly on it, because a lot of the time to tell the surface, you have to go under a light and kind of shine the card, look at different angles. So a lot of the times the picture will not capture that. So what you're going to want to do is ask about the surface to the seller. Usually if there's a problem, they're going to let you know. For example, with this Luka Doncic card, if we look up here, the centering is a little bit bad top to bottom. So I would probably stick away from this. If you guys just look at how well the card is, you know, centered in the screen, and then also look at the back centering. Back centering does not hold as much weight as front centering, but still, if you're looking to get that PSA 10, you want everything to be perfect, and just little things like that is definitely, you know, where this NBA logo is, you know, position. You just have to look for differences basically with the PSA 10, and if you can find more than one, I would definitely, you know, if it's a very minor one, chances are, you know, you could get away with it. But yeah, that's definitely something I'll look at. And then another thing is, make sure the card that is pictured is the card you will get. So for example, this is, because, they're in their own case, but a lot of the time people will post like a generic photo of the card from Google Images, and you definitely do not want to get scammed like that. A lot of the times, it's usually easy to tell if it's just like, if it has like a Getty Images or whatever it is on it, it's probably just like taken from Google. And a lot of people still do that. It really pisses me off. But a lot of people do, when they're selling a card, they're just like, oh, yeah, I guess if you're not too experienced, you just look up like a picture of the card and just post it on your eBay listing. And then you get a card with like a scratch or something like that. So definitely just make sure that it's the card that you are actually getting, which shouldn't be too big of a, I guess, risk, but just something else to look for. And then what I do recommend doing is grading with someone. So I personally use Clay Cards on Instagram, but there are many benefits to grading with someone. One, it's cheaper. Two, your turnaround times are quicker because they're sending in bulk for many other people too, right? There's many other people who are sending in cards with them, and technically it's all in their, name. It's all in their, I guess, vault with PSA. And a lot of the times they have good relationships with PSA. And honestly, if I'm being honest, the more you spend and the more cards you send in, the higher chance you have of, being favored by grading companies. And if you're just one guy sending in one card, one, it's probably going to take a long time for them to get it back to you, and two, they're probably not going to pay as much attention to you and care as much to give you a favorable grade. So if you are sending in cards yourself, I definitely recommend switching and using some professional grader, because one, they're going to check your cards before to make sure everything's good, and two, turnaround times are better. Three, you're definitely going to have a favorable grade in most cases because they have good relationships with PSA. They're sending in, could be thousands, tens of thousands of cards at once with like basically a lot of people's cards. So when they do that, you're kind of prioritized. They love to give good grades, I guess, to bulk senders because they want their business back, right? If you're giving a bulk sender an 8, what if they don't? What if they send a BGS instead next time? So bulk sellers are definitely valued more. Bulk senders are valued more by PSA. So I definitely recommend sending it in with a bulk sender, such as Clay Cards, or there are many other on Instagram that definitely work pretty well for that. And then another thing, is a big thing actually, is making sure that the seller is not selling graded cards as well. So ComC's may be a little different, but if you're just looking at this card, right? I don't know why all of ComC's stuff is showing up, but if it's just a regular seller, right? If they are also selling graded cards, there is a chance that the guy is. So what you want to do is go down to about the seller and then seller's other items, because if they're also selling other graded cards, then so this guy looks pretty good, right? Because he probably just pulls stuff from packs, sells them on eBay, which means you generally have a higher chance of getting a good grade. But if this guy was also selling graded cards, there is that chance that, why didn't they send in this Luka Doncic to grade? Maybe because the guy knew that it wouldn't grade very high, so he decided to sell it raw. So what you want to do is make sure the guy is selling only raw cards if you're buying raw cards on eBay, because otherwise there's a chance that, that's a throwaway card that they knew wouldn't grade high, so they're selling it raw. And you have like a no chance at a good grade. So definitely make sure, the seller is not selling other graded cards. This guy seems pretty good. Obviously, he might just be pulling packs and selling cards straight out of the pack. He might just, have a raw collection and selling them. So you generally have a higher chance at grading high. So yeah, that's definitely one big thing. You don't want the guy to be like a professional grader selling a raw card. That means that the card, obviously, one, will not grade high because they know and they've already checked. Or two, it wasn't worth their time with it, which is a chance. But yeah, that's pretty much, the tips I have. Definitely be just very vigilant. Like, don't rush it if you're buying graded cards. Raw cards. Go ask questions. Ask about the surface. definitely. And basically everything I said, I hope this really helps some of you guys out who have been asking me to make a grading guide. So I really hope you guys enjoyed, and this can help you guys out when grading cards. You definitely got to be very careful on eBay. A lot of guys, might be selling raw cards only if they know it won't grade high. So you definitely want to go ahead and make sure the seller isn't selling any graded cards as well, because then there's a higher chance that, this was one of their throwaways that wasn't going to grade high, so they're selling it raw. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. Once again, my website link is in the description below, sportscardsinvest.com. Go check it out. And yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you guys so much for watching. And other than that, I'm out. Peace.